Hello and welcome to the introductory unit of our poetry unit for English 1 Freshman with Mr. Davidson. This lecture will focus on answering the question, what is poetry? So is this poetry? This is Sonnet 18 by William Shakespeare. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's leaf hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often in his gold complexion dimmed. And every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course, untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest. Nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. So I think we can all admit that this is understandably poetry. We know it's by William Shakespeare, who wrote poems. It's called a sonnet, which we know is a structure of poem. And if you look, it sounds fancy, it sounds old, it rhymes. We get stuff like day, may, temperate, date, shines, declines, dimmed, untrimmed, fade, shade, oast, roast, see, and thee. I mean, obviously, this is a poem talking about how he loves this girl, but everything fades, but not this poem, and that's how their love survives. So, yes, this is a poem. But what about this? Is this poetry? Looks like a bunch of math. I know both sides equal 81, but what on earth is happening here? 12, 144, 20? I don't get it. But wait, what if there was a different way to talk about this? A dozen, a gross, and a score, plus 3 times the square root of 4, divided by 7, plus 5 times 11, is 9 squared and no more. What? Look at that. 12 is a dozen, 144 is a gross, and 20 is a score. And it rhymes. This must be a poem. But what about this? Grasshopper by E. E. Cummings. I can't even... What is... I don't get it. Grasshopper, who as we look, now gathering into the leap, arriving, becoming rearrangingly, grasshopper. So grasshopper, who as we look, now gathering into the leap, arriving to become rearrangingly grasshopper. And we get grasshopper, 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 grasshopper. And if you look, before grasshopper jumps, it's going to stretch out. And then it tightens up, and then it's leaping, and then it lands to be a grasshopper. But it doesn't rhyme. It's not structured into lines. Is this poetry? Poetry uses the 5 senses, language, and observations of life. We study poetry because language is important and has meaning. Poetry's purpose is to communicate. So if we look at all of those examples, it meets all of these requirements, so we can call them poems. Where I am from. I am from microwave carts, train-themed bedrooms, and shared backyards. I am from locations whose names cause giggles. I am from Do Not Step on the M. I am from cinnamon roll-ups and hard work. From the group that does homework at the kitchen table. From mom after school and dad not till dinner. I'm from tartan ties and all school masses. I'm from finally getting a dog 8 years after the first one died. from We Named You after the dog in that beer commercial. I wrote this. This is where I am from. This is a poem representing my life. What I would like you to do is try something of the same kind. All you have to do is fill in the blanks. First, we start off with 3 ordinary items. I am from blank and blank and blank. The next line is a reference to or a description of your hometown or your place of birth. Not the name of your hometown or your place of birth, but a reference to it. I am from a description of school or schools prior to attending college or U of D. I am from a family tradition, belief, or commitment, and a family description or trait. From names or description of a reference to a family member or members. From another description of names or description of or reference to family member or members. I am from something about your racial, ethnic, or ancestry, and a reference to your religion or lack of it. I am from an example of a family struggle and or triumph, from something you were told as a child. So take some time and on a separate sheet of paper, complete this poem for you to help show where you're from, because the whole purpose of poetry is to communicate. So communicate about you using this poem by filling in the blanks. I can't wait to see what you come up with. See you tomorrow.